Welcome back to Footnotes and Folly, and to the end of Hamlet. I am Pemberton. This is part 4. Hamlet, by a stroke of luck and nerve, has escaped the king's plot and returned to Denmark, but he comes home to a grave. The mad Ophelia has drowned, and Hamlet stumbles upon her very burial in the churchyard, after pausing among the gravediggers to hold a jester's skull and speak the gentlest meditation on death ever written. Alas, poor Yorick. Then the king and the grieving Laertes spring their last trap, a friendly fencing match, with a poisoned sword and a poisoned cup. Watch how, in the end, all the poison meant for Hamlet spreads to everyone. The queen, Laertes, the king, and Hamlet himself, so that the stage at the close is heaped with the dead, and the throne of Denmark passes to a passing foreign prince. The readiness, as Hamlet says at last, is all. Let us finish it.
Horatio and a servant enter another room in the castle. Who is it that wants to speak with me? Sailors, sir. They say they have letters for you. Let them come in. The servant exits. I cannot think who from any part of the world would send me greetings, unless it is Lord Hamlet. Sailors enter. God bless you, sir. And may he bless you too. He will, sir, if it pleases him. Here is a letter for you, sir. It comes from the ambassador who is bound for England, if your name is Horatio, as I have been told it is. Horatio, when you have read this, help these men get to the king. They have letters for him. Before we had been 2 days at sea, a pirate ship, heavily armed for war, chased us. Seeing that we were too slow under sail, we showed courage because we had no choice, and in the fight I boarded them. At once they broke free from our ship, so I alone became their prisoner. They have treated me like merciful thieves. But they knew what they were doing. I must do them a good turn. Let the king have the letters I have sent, and come to me as quickly as you would flee from death. I have words to speak in your ear that will leave you speechless, though they are still far too light for the weight of the matter. These good men will bring you to where I am. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are still on their way to England. I have much to tell you about them. Farewell. He whom you know is yours, Hamlet. Come, I will help you deliver these letters, and do it quickly, so that you can guide me to the man who sent them. They all exit. King and Laertes enter another room in the castle. Now your conscience must clear me, and you must count me as a friend in your heart, since you have heard and understood clearly that the man who killed your noble father was also trying to take my life. That is plain enough. But tell me why you did not act against crimes so wicked and so deserving of death, when your own safety, wisdom, and every other reason should have urged you strongly to do it. For 2 particular reasons, which may perhaps seem weak to you, though they are strong to me. The queen, his mother, lives almost by his looks, and as for myself, whether it is my virtue or my curse, she is so joined to my life and soul that, as a star cannot move except within its own sphere, I cannot move except with her. The other reason I could not bring him to public judgment is the great love the common people bear him. They dip all his faults in their affection, and like the spring that turns wood to stone, would turn his chains into ornaments. My arrows, too lightly made for so strong a wind, would have come back to my own bow instead of striking where I aimed them. And so I have lost a noble father, and a sister driven into a desperate state, a sister whose worth, if praise may look backward, stood as a challenge on the height of this whole age for perfection. But my revenge will come. Do not lose sleep over that. You must not think we are made of such dull and lifeless stuff that we can let danger shake us by the beard and think it sport. You will hear more shortly. I loved your father, and I love myself, and that, I hope, will teach you to imagine. A messenger enters. What now? What news? Letters, my lord, from Hamlet. This one is for your majesty, and this one for the queen. From Hamlet. Who brought them? Sailors, my lord, or so they say. I did not see them. They were given to me by Claudio. He received them from the man who brought them. Laertes, you shall hear them. Leave us. The messenger exits. The king reads. High and mighty one, know that I have been set down naked in your kingdom. Tomorrow I shall ask permission to see your royal eyes. Then, first asking your pardon for doing so, I will explain the causes of my sudden and very strange return. Hamlet. What can this mean? Have all the others come back? Or is this some trick and no such thing at all? Do you know the handwriting? It is Hamlet's hand. Naked. And here in a postscript he says alone. Can you advise me? I am lost in it, my lord. But let him come. It warms the very sickness in my heart to think I shall live to tell him to his teeth, this is how you die. If it is so, Laertes, how should it be so, and how otherwise could it be? Will you be guided by me? Yes, my lord, so long as you do not guide me into peace. Into your own peace. If he has returned now, turning back from his voyage, and means to undertake it no more, I will draw him into an exploit that is now ripe in my design. Under it he cannot help but fall, and no whisper shall breathe against his death. Even his mother will acquit the plan and call it accident. My lord, I will be guided, especially if you can arrange it so that I may be the instrument. That fits exactly. Since your travels, people have spoken much of you, and in Hamlet's hearing, for one quality in which they say you shine. All your gifts together did not stir as much envy in him as that single one, though to my mind it is among the least worthy. What quality is that, my lord? A mere ribbon in the cap of youth, yet needful too, for light and careless dress suits youth no less than black robes and sober clothing suits settled age, bringing an air of health and seriousness. 2 months ago a gentleman from Normandy was here. I have seen the French myself and served against them, and they are excellent on horseback. But this gallant had something like witchcraft in him. He seemed grown into his saddle, and brought his horse to such astonishing feats that he looked as if he had become one body and half one nature with the brave beast. He went so far beyond my imagination that, even inventing shapes and tricks in my mind, I could not reach what he actually did. Was he a Norman? A Norman. Upon my life, the Mord. The very same. I know him well. He is truly the jewel and ornament of that whole nation. He spoke of you, and gave so masterly a report of your skill and practice in self-defense, especially with the rapier, that he cried it would truly be a sight if anyone could match you. He swore the fencers of his own nation had neither movement, guard, nor eye if they were set against you. Sir, this report so poisoned Hamlet with envy, that he could do nothing but wish and beg for your sudden return, so he could fence with you. Now, from this. What from this, my lord? Laertes, was your father dear to you? Or are you like the picture of grief, a face without a heart? Why do you ask me this? Not because I think you did not love your father, but because I know love begins in time, and I have seen by proof that time cools its spark and fire. Within the very flame of love there lives a kind of wick or ash that will lessen it. Nothing remains always at the same goodness, for goodness, swelling too much, dies from its own excess. What we would do, we should do when we first would do it, for that will changes and suffers as many abatements and delays as there are tongues, hands, and accents. Then this should becomes like a wasteful sigh that harms by giving relief. But to the raw heart of the wound, Hamlet comes back. What would you undertake to show yourself your father's son in deed more than in words? To cut his throat in the church. No place, indeed, should shelter murder, revenge should have no bounds. But good Laertes, will you do this? Keep close within your chamber. When Hamlet returns, he shall learn that you have come home. We will set people to praise your excellence, and put a double polish on the reputation the Frenchman gave you. We will bring you together neatly and make a wager on your heads. He, being careless, generous, and free from all plotting, will not examine the foils. So with ease, or with a little shifting, you may choose a sword without a blunted point, and in a practice pass repay him for your father. I will do it, and for that purpose I will anoint my sword. I bought a poison from a quack doctor so deadly that if a knife is only dipped in it, wherever it draws blood no healing poultice, though made from every herb of virtue under the moon, can save the creature scratched by it from death. I will touch my point with this infection, so that if I wound him even slightly, it may be death. Let us think further on this, and weigh what convenience of time and means may fit our plan. If this should fail, and our intention show through our poor performance, it would have been better not attempted. Therefore this project should have a backup, a second plan that can hold if the first breaks down in the test. Wait, let me see. We will make a formal wager on your skills. I have it. When you are hot and dry from your movement, as your bouts will be made more violent for that purpose, and he calls for drink, I will have a cup prepared for him. If he merely sips from it, and by chance escapes your poisoned thrust, our purpose may still succeed there. The queen enters. What now, sweet queen? One sorrow treads on the heel of another, they follow so fast. Your sister is drowned, Laertes. Drowned. Oh, where? There is a willow that grows slanting over a brook and shows its pale leaves in the glassy stream. There she came with strange garlands she had made of crow, flowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples, which coarse shepherds give a cruder name, though our cold maids call them dead men's fingers. As she climbed to hang her wreath of weeds on the hanging branches, a spiteful branch broke. Then her flowered trophies, and she herself fell into the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide, and for a while they bore her up like a mermaid, while she sang scraps of old songs, as if she could not understand her own danger, or like a creature born and fitted to that element. But it could not last long before her garments, heavy with the water they had drunk, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious song down to muddy death. Alas, then she is drowned? Drowned, drowned. You have too much water already, poor Ophelia, and therefore I forbid my tears. But still it is our way. Nature keeps her custom, let shame say what it will. When these tears are gone, the woman in me will be gone. Farewell, my lord. I have a speech of fire that would gladly blaze, but this folly puts it out. Laertes exits. Let us follow, Gertrude. How much I had to do to calm his rage. Now I fear this will start it up again. Therefore let us follow. They exit. 2 clowns enter a churchyard with spades and other tools. Is she going to be buried with Christian rites, when she deliberately sought her own salvation? I tell you she is, so make her grave at once. The coroner has held his inquiry over her and found that she may have Christian burial. How can that be, unless she drowned herself in self-defense? Why, that is what has been decided. It must be self-offense, it cannot be anything else. Here is the point. If I drown myself knowingly, that proves an act, and an act has 3 parts, to act, to do, and to perform. Therefore she drowned herself knowingly. No, but listen, good digger. Let me finish. Here is the water, good. Here stands the man, good. If the man goes to the water and drowns himself, whether he wants to or not, he goes to it. Mark that. But if the water comes to him and drowns him, he does not drown himself. Therefore, the man who is not guilty of his own death does not shorten his own life. But is that the law? Yes, indeed it is, coroner's jury law. Do you want the truth of it? If she had not been a gentlewoman, she would have been buried outside Christian ground. There you have it. And it is all the more pity that great people in this world should have permission to drown or hang themselves more than their fellow Christians. Come, my spade. There are no ancient gentlemen except gardeners, ditchers, and grave makers. They keep up Adam's profession. Was he a gentleman? He was the first man who ever bore arms. Why, he had none. What, are you a heathen? How do you understand Scripture? Scripture says Adam dug. Could he dig without arms? I will ask you another question. If you cannot answer me properly, admit yourself beaten. Go on. Who builds stronger than the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter? The maker of gallows, because that frame outlives 1,000 tenants. I like your wit well enough, the gallows does well. But how does it do well? It does well for those who do ill. Now, you do ill to say the gallows is built stronger than the church, therefore the gallows may do well for you. Try again. Who builds stronger than a mason, a shipwright, or a carpenter? Yes, tell me that, and then you may quit. By my faith, now I can tell. Say it. No, I cannot tell. Hamlet and Horatio enter at a distance. Do not beat your brains over it any more, for a dull dog he will not improve his pace by being beaten. When you are asked this question next, say a grave maker. The houses he builds last until Judgment Day. Go to yon and fetch me a jug of liquor. The second clown exits. The first clown digs and sings. When I was young and loved, I thought it was very sweet. To pass the time as suited me, I thought nothing could be more fitting. Has this fellow no feeling for his work, that he sings while making a grave? Habit has made it easy for him. It is just so. The hand that does little work has the more delicate sense. But age, with its stealthy steps, has caught me in its grip, and has carried me away into the land as if I had never been such a man. He throws up a skull. That skull had a tongue in it once and could sing. See how the rogue knocks it against the ground, as if it were Cain's jawbone, the one that committed the first murder. This might be the head of a politician, which this fool now overrules with his spade, a man who would have tried to outwit God. Might it not? It might, my lord. Or the skull of a courtier who could say, "Good morning, sweet lord. How are you, good lord?" This might be my lord so, and so who praised my lord so, and so's horse when he meant to beg it from him. Might it not? Yes, my lord. Exactly. And now it belongs to Lady Worm, jawless and battered about the head with a sexton's spade. Here is a fine revolution, if only we had the art to see it. Did these bones cost no more in the raising than to be played with like sticks? Mine ache to think of it. A pickaxe and a spade and a burial sheet. A pit of clay must be made for such a guest as fit. He throws up another skull. There is another. Why could that not be the skull of a lawyer? Where are his subtleties now, his fine distinctions, his cases, his titles, and his tricks? Why does he allow this rude fellow to knock him about the head with a dirty shovel, and not sue him for assault? In his time this fellow might have been a great buyer of land, with his statutes, bonds, fines, double vouchers, and recoveries. Is this the final fine of all his fines, and the recovery of all his recoveries, to have his fine head filled with fine dirt? Will his vouchers guarantee him no more of his purchases, double ones too, than the length and width of a pair of legal parchments? The deeds for his lands would barely fit in this little box, and must the owner himself have no more than that? Not one bit more, my lord. Is parchment not made from sheepskins? Yes, my lord, and from calfskins too. They are sheep and calves who seek security in that. I will speak to this fellow. Whose grave is this, sir? Mine, sir. A pit of clay must be made for such a guest as fit. I think it is yours indeed, because you lie in it. You lie outside it, sir, and therefore it is not yours. As for me, I do not lie in it, and yet it is mine. You do lie in it by being in it and saying it is yours. It is for the dead, not for the living, therefore you lie. That is a lively lie, sir. It will pass from me back to you. What man are you digging it for? For no man, sir. What woman, then? For no woman either. Who is to be buried in it? One who was a woman, sir, but God rest her soul, she is dead. How exact the rogue is! We must speak by the compass, or double meanings will undo us. By the Lord, Horatio, I have noticed these last 3 years that the age has grown so refined that the peasant's toe comes so close to the courtier's heel that it rubs his chilblain. How long have you been a grave maker? Of all the days in the year, I began on the very day our late King Hamlet defeated Fortinbras. How long ago was that? Can you not tell? Every fool can tell that. It was the very day young Hamlet was born, the one who is mad and has been sent to England. Indeed. Why was he sent to England? Why, because he was mad. He will recover his wits there, or if he does not, it will not much matter there. Why? It will not be noticed in him there. The men there are as mad as he is. How did he become mad? Very strangely, they say. How strangely? Why, simply by losing his wits. On what ground? Why, here in Denmark. I have been sexton here, man and boy, for 30 years. How long will a man lie in the earth before he rots? By my faith, if he is not rotten before he dies, as many diseased corpses are nowadays, barely holding together long enough to be laid in the grave, he will last you some 8 or 9 years. A tanner will last you 9 years. Why does he last longer than another man? Why, sir, his hide is so tanned by his trade that it keeps water out for a long time. And water is a terrible destroyer of a dead body. Here's a skull now. This skull has lain in the earth 23 years. Whose was it? It belonged to a mad rogue. Whose do you think it was? No, I do not know. A plague on him, the mad rascal. He once poured a flagon of Rhenish wine on my head. The same skull, sir, was Yorick's skull, the king's jester. This one? That very one. Let me see. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio, a man of endless jokes and excellent imagination. He carried me on his back 1,000 times, and now how horrible this is to picture. My stomach turns at it. Here were the lips I kissed, I do not know how often. Where are your jokes now, your capers, your songs, your flashes of wit that used to make the whole table roar? Not one left now to mock your own grin? Quite down in the mouth. Now go to my lady's room, and tell her that even if she paints her face an inch thick, she must come to this appearance at last. Make her laugh at that. Please, Horatio, tell me one thing. What is that, my lord? Do you think Alexander looked like this in the earth? Exactly so. And smelled like this? Ha! Hamlet throws down the skull. Exactly so, my lord. What low uses we may return to, Horatio. Why may imagination not trace the noble dust of Alexander until it finds him plugging the hole in a barrel? That would be thinking too precisely about it. No, truly, not at all. Follow him there with enough restraint, and let probability guide us. Alexander died. Alexander was buried. Alexander returned to dust. Dust is earth. From earth we make clay. And why should they not use the clay he became to stop a beer barrel? Imperial Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might plug a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, that the earth which once held the world in awe should patch a wall to shut out winter's blast. But quiet, quiet, stand aside. Here comes the king. Priests and others enter in procession, followed by the corpse of Ophelia, Laertes, mourners, king, queen, their attendants, and others. Hamlet watches. The queen and the courtiers are here. Who is it they follow, and with such incomplete rites? This suggests the body they follow belonged to someone who, in despair, destroyed her own life. She must have been of high rank. Let us hide a while and watch. Hamlet withdraws with Horatio. What other ceremony is there? That is Laertes, a very noble young man. Watch. What other ceremony is there? Her funeral rites have been extended as far as our authority allows. Her death was doubtful, and if a great command had not overruled the order, she would have been lodged in unsanctified ground until the last trumpet. Instead of charitable prayers, shards, flints, and pebbles should have been thrown upon her. Yet here she is allowed her virgin rites, her maiden flowers, and the carrying home with bell and burial. Must nothing more be done? Nothing more. We would profane the service of the dead, if we sang a solemn requiem, and gave her the same rest we give to souls who died in peace. Lay her in the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell you, harsh priest, my sister will be a ministering angel when you lie howling. What, the fair Ophelia? Sweet flowers to the sweet. Farewell. I hoped you would have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought to decorate your bridal bed, sweet maid, not scatter flowers on your grave. Oh, may threefold sorrow fall 10 times threefold on the cursed head, whose wicked deed robbed you of your most ingenious mind. Hold back the earth a while, until I have caught her once more in my arms. Laertes sleeps into the grave. Now heap your dust upon the living and the dead, until you have made this level ground into a mountain higher than old Pelion, or the sky, reaching head of blue Olympus. Who is this whose grief speaks with such emphasis, whose words of sorrow summon the wandering stars, and make them stand like listeners, stunned with wonder? It is I, Hamlet the Dane. Hamlet advances and leaps into the grave. The devil take your soul. Laertes grapples with Hamlet. You do not pray well. Please take your fingers from my throat. Though I am not hot, tempered, and rash, there is something dangerous in me which your wisdom should fear. Take away your hand. Pull them apart. Hamlet. Hamlet. Gentlemen. Good my lord, be calm. The attendants separate them, and they come out of the grave. Why, I will fight with him over this subject until my eyelids can no longer move. Oh, my son, what subject? I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers, with all their amount of love, could not equal mine. What will you do for her? Oh, he is mad, Laertes. For the love of God, leave him alone. By God's wounds, show me what you will do. Will you weep? Will you fight? Will you fast? Will you tear yourself? Will you drink vinegar? Eat a crocodile? I will do it. Do you come here to whine to outdo me by leaping into her grave? Be buried alive with her, and so will I. If you talk of mountains, let them throw millions of acres on us, until our piled-up ground singes its head against the burning sky and makes Asa look like a wart. If you must rant, I will rant as well as you. This is pure madness. For a while the fit works on him like this. Soon, as patient as a female dove when her golden young have hatched, he will sit in drooping silence. Listen, sir. What is the reason you treat me this way? I always loved you. But it does not matter. Let Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will mew, and the dog will have his day. Hamlet exits. Please, good Horatio, attend him. Horatio exits. Laertes, strengthen your patience with what we discussed last night. We will bring the matter to its immediate test. Good Gertrude, set some guard over your son. This grave shall have a living monument. We will soon see an hour of quiet. Until then, let us proceed with patience. They all exit. Hamlet and Horatio enter a hall in the castle. That is enough about that, sir. Now let me see the other matter. You remember all the circumstances, do you not? Remember them, my lord? Sir, there was such a struggle in my heart that I could not sleep. I felt worse than sailors chained below during a mutiny. Rashly, and let rashness be praised for it, since our impulsive acts sometimes serve us well when our careful plans fail, and that should teach us that there is a divine power shaping our ends, no matter how roughly we try to carve them. That is most certain. I got up from my cabin, threw my look around me, and in the dark felt my way to find them. I found what I wanted, handled their packet, and at last withdrew again to my own room. Fear made me forget manners, so I boldly unsealed their royal commission. There, Horatio, I found royal villainy, a direct order padded with many kinds of arguments about Denmark's safety and England's too, and with such alarms about my life that, as soon as the papers were read, with no delay allowed, not even time to sharpen the axe, my head was to be struck off. Is that possible? Here is the commission. Read it later when you have more leisure. But will you hear how I went on? I beg you, tell me. Finding myself trapped all around by villainy, before my thoughts could even write a prologue, they had already begun the play. I sat down, devised a new commission, and wrote it out neatly. I once thought, as politicians do, that neat handwriting was a low skill, and worked hard to forget it. But now, sir, it served me like a loyal yeoman. Do you want to know the substance of what I wrote? Yes, good my lord. It was an earnest command from the king. Since England was his faithful tributary, since love between them should flourish like the palm, since peace should wear her wheaten garland and stand as the bond between their friendships, and with many such weighty phrases, that as soon as these contents were seen and understood, without further debate, more or less, the bearer should be put to immediate death, with no time allowed for confession. How was it sealed? Why, even in that heaven-arranged things. I had my father's signet in my purse, made from the pattern of the Danish seal. I folded the letter in the same form as the other, signed it, stamped it, and placed it safely back. The substitution was never discovered. The next day came our sea fight, and you already know what followed from that. So Guildenstern and Rosencrantz go to it. Why, man, they courted that employment. They do not lie near my conscience. Their fall grew from their own meddling. It is dangerous when lesser men step between the thrust and the furious points of mighty opponents. What a king this is! Does it not seem to you that it now lies upon me? He killed my king, corrupted my mother, slipped between the election and my hopes, cast his hook for my own life, and did it all with such deceit. Is it not perfect conscience to repay him with this arm? And would it not be damnable to let this corruption of our nature go on doing further evil? He will soon learn from England what became of that business there. It will be soon. The time between is mine, and a man's life is no more than the time it takes to say one. But I am very sorry, good Horatio, that I lost command of myself with Laertes. In the reflection of my own cause I see the image of his. I will seek his favor. Still, the display of his grief drove me into a towering passion. Quiet. Who comes here? Osric enters. Your lordship is very welcome back to Denmark. I humbly thank you, sir. Do you know this waterfly? No, my good lord. Your condition is better for it, since knowing him is a vice. He owns much land, and fertile land too. Let a beast be lord of beasts and his feed. Ben will stand at the king's table. He is a loud, foolish bird, but as I say, spacious in his possession of dirt. Sweet lord, if your lordship were at leisure, I should deliver something to you from his majesty. I will receive it with all readiness of spirit. Put your hat to its proper use, it is meant for the head. I thank your lordship. It is very hot. No, believe me, it is very cold. The wind is northerly. It is rather cold, my lord, indeed. I think it is very close and hot for my complexion. Extremely, my lord. It is very close, as it were, I hardly know how. But my lord, his majesty asked me to inform you that he has laid a great wager on your head. Sir, this is the matter. I beg you, remember. Hamlet gestures for Osric to put on his hat. No, truly, for my own ease, truly. Sir, Laertes has newly come to court. Believe me, he is an absolute gentleman, full of the finest distinctions, very gracious in society, and of great appearance. Indeed, to speak from the heart, he is the map and calendar of gentility. In him you will find the whole continent of everything a gentleman would wish to see. Sir, your definition does him no loss, though I know that to divide him inventory by inventory would make memory's arithmetic dizzy, and still only drift behind the speed of his sail. But in true praise, I take him to be a soul of great value, and of such rare and costly composition that, to speak accurately of him, his only equal is his mirror. Anyone else trying to imitate him is only his shadow, nothing more. Your lordship speaks most infallibly of him. What is the concern, sir? Why do we wrap the gentleman in our rower breath? Sir? Is it not possible to understand this in another language? You will do it, sir, truly. What is the importance of naming this gentleman? Of Laertes. His purse is empty already, all his golden words are spent. Of him, sir? I know you are not ignorant. I wish you did know that, sir, yet in truth, if you did, it would not prove much in my favor. Well, sir, you are not ignorant of the excellence Laertes possesses. I dare not admit that, or I would seem to compare myself with him in excellence. To know a man well would be to know oneself. I mean, sir, in his weapon. In the reputation given him by those who praise him, he has no equal. What is his weapon? Rapier and dagger. Those are two of his weapons. But go on. The king, sir, has wagered with him 6 Barbary horses. Against them, as I understand it, Laertes has staked 6 French rapiers and daggers with their accessories, such as belt, hangers, and so on. 3 of the fittings are, truly, very pleasing to the fancy, very well matched to the hilts, most delicate fittings, and of very generous design. What do you call the fittings? I knew you would need a note in the margin before you were done. The fittings, sir, are the hangers. The phrase would fit the matter better if we could carry cannon at our sides. Until then, I wish they might simply be hangers. But continue. 6 Barbary horses against 6 French swords, their accessories, and 3 generously designed hangers. That is the French wager against the Danish. Why is all this staked, as you call it? The king, sir, has laid a bet that in a dozen passes between you and him, he will not exceed you by 3 hits. He has wagered 12 against 9. It would come to immediate trial if your lordship would be pleased to answer. What if I answer no? I mean, my lord, whether you will oppose your person in the trial. Sir, I will walk here in the hall. If it pleases his majesty, this is my time of exercise. Let the foils be brought. If the gentleman is willing and the king keeps his purpose, I will win for him if I can. If not, I will gain nothing but my shame and the extra hits. Shall I report your answer exactly so? To that effect, sir, with whatever flourish your nature adds. I commend my duty to your lordship. Yours. Osric exits. He does well to commend it himself. No one else's tongue would do it for him. This young bird runs off with the shell still on his head. He was courteous to his mother's breast before he ever sucked it. So he, and many more of that same flock whom this vulgar age adores, have only learned the tune of the times and the outward style of conversation. It is a frothy gathering of phrases that carries them through the most sifted and refined opinions, but only blow on them to test them, and the bubbles vanish. A lord enters. My lord, his majesty sent his compliments to you through young Osric, who has reported back that you are waiting for him in the hall. The king wishes to know whether you are still willing to fence with Laertes, or whether you would like more time. I remain steady in my purpose, and it follows the king's pleasure. If the king is ready, so am I. Now or whenever he wishes, provided I am as able then as I am now. The king and queen and everyone else are coming down. At the right time. The queen asks that you offer Laertes some gentle courtesy before you begin the match. She advises me well. The lord exits. You will lose this wager, my lord. I do not think so. Since he went to France, I have been practicing constantly. With the odds in my favor, I shall win. But you would not believe how uneasy my heart feels here, yet it does not matter. No good, my lord. It is only foolishness, but it is a kind of foreboding that might perhaps trouble a woman. If your mind dislikes anything about this, obey it. I will go ahead of them and say you are not fit to play. Not at all. We defy omens. There is a special providence even in the fall of a sparrow. If it is to happen now, it will not come later. If it is not to come later, it will happen now. If it is not now, still it will come. Being ready is everything. Since no man truly possesses what he must leave behind, what does it matter if he leaves it early? The king, queen, Laertes, lords, Osric, and attendants enter with foils and other equipment. The king puts Laertes' hand into Hamlet's. Come, Hamlet, come and take this hand from me. Give me your pardon, sir. I have wronged you, but forgive it as a gentleman. Everyone here knows, and you must surely have heard, how severely I have been punished by madness. Whatever I have done that might have harshly stirred your nature, honor, or grievance, I proclaim here was madness. Was it Hamlet who wronged Laertes? Never Hamlet. If Hamlet was taken away from himself, and when he was not himself he wronged Laertes, then Hamlet did not do it. Hamlet denies it. Who did it then? His madness. If that is so, then Hamlet belongs to the party that has been wronged. His madness is poor Hamlet's enemy. Sir, before this company, let my denial of deliberate evil free me so far in your generous thoughts that you may believe I shot my arrow over the house and wounded my brother by accident. In my natural feeling I am satisfied, though that should be the strongest motive urging me to revenge. But in matters of honor I stand apart, and will accept no reconciliation, until some older masters of known honor give me an opinion and a precedent for peace that will keep my name unwounded. Until then, I receive your offered love as love, and I will not wrong it. I embrace it freely, and I will play this brotherly wager openly. Give us the foils. Come on. Come one for me. I will be your foil, Laertes. Against my ignorance, your skill will shine out like a star in the darkest night. You mock me, sir. No, by this hand. Give them the foils, young Osric. Cousin Hamlet, you know the wager? Very well, my lord. Your grace has bet on the weaker side. I do not fear it. I have seen you both, but since he has improved, we have given you odds. This one is too heavy. Let me see another. This one suits me well. Are all these foils the same length? They prepare to play. Yes, my good lord. Set the cups of wine on that table. If Hamlet makes the first or second hit, or answers the third exchange by evening the score, let all the battlements fire their cannon. The king shall drink to Hamlet's renewed strength, and into the cup he shall drop a pearl richer than the one that 4 kings in succession have worn in Denmark's crown. Give me the cups. Let the drum speak to the trumpet to the gunner outside, the cannons to the heavens, and the heavens to the earth. Now the king drinks to Hamlet. Come, begin. And you judges watch carefully. Come on, sir. Come, my lord. They fence. 1. No. Judgment. A hit, a very clear hit. Well, again. Wait. Give me drink. Hamlet, this pearl is yours. Here is to your health. Trumpets sound and cannon fire within. Give him the cup. I will play this bout first. Set it aside for a while. They fence. Come. Another hit. What do you say? A touch, a touch. I admit it. Our son shall win. He is out of condition and short of breath. Here, Hamlet, take my napkin and wipe your brow. The queen drinks to your fortune, Hamlet. Good madam. Gertrude, do not drink. I will, my lord. Please pardon me. It is the poison cup. It is too late. I dare not drink yet, madam. Soon. Come, let me wipe your face. My lord, I will hit him now. I do not think so. And yet it is almost against my conscience. Come for the third, Laertes. You are only playing with me. I beg you, attack with your best force. I am afraid you are treating me like a child. Do you say so? Come on. They fence. Nothing on either side. Take this, then. Laertes wounds Hamlet. In the scuffle they exchange rapiers, and Hamlet wounds Laertes. Separate them. They are angry. No, come again. The queen falls. Look to the queen there, ho! They are bleeding on both sides. How is it, my lord? How is it, Laertes? Like a woodcock caught in my own snare, Osric. I am justly killed by my own treachery. How is the queen? She faints to see them bleed. No, no, the drink, the drink. Oh, my dear Hamlet. The drink, the drink. I am poisoned. She dies. Oh, villainy. Ho! Lock the door. Treachery. Search it out. Laertes falls. It is here, Hamlet. Hamlet, you are slain. No medicine in the world can help you. You have less than half an hour to live. The treacherous weapon is in your hand, unblunted and poisoned. Foul scheme has turned back on me. Look, here I lie never to rise again. Your mother is poisoned. I can say no more. The king is to blame. The point poisoned too. Then poison, do your work. He stabs the king. Treason. Treason. Oh, defend me, friends. I am only wounded. Here, you incestuous, murderous, damned Dane, drink off this potion. Is your pearl here? Follow my mother. The king dies. He is justly served. It is a poison mixed by himself. Exchange forgiveness with me, noble Hamlet. Let my death and my father's death not fall on you, nor yours on me. Laertes dies. May heaven free you from blame. I follow you. I am dead, Horatio. Wretched queen, farewell. You who look pale and tremble at this event, who are only silent witnesses or audience to this act, if I had time, as death, that harsh officer is strict in his arrest, oh, I could tell you. But let it be. Horatio, I am dead. You live. Report me and my cause rightly to those who remain unsatisfied. Never believe it. I am more an ancient Roman than a Dane. There is still some liquor left. If you are a man, give me the cup. Let go, by heaven, I will have it. Oh, good Horatio, what a wounded name I will leave behind me if things remain unknown like this. If you ever held me in your heart, keep yourself from happiness a while, and in this harsh world keep breathing in pain, to tell my story. A march is heard far off, and a shot within. What warlike noise is this? Young Fortinbras, returning in victory from Poland, gives this military salute to the ambassadors of England. Oh, I am dying, Horatio. The strong poison overwhelms my spirit. I cannot live long enough to hear the news from England, but I predict that the election will fall to Fortinbras. He has my dying vote. Tell him that, and tell him all the events, great and small, that have brought this about. The rest is silence. Hamlet dies. Now a noble heart is broken. Good night, sweet prince, and may flights of angels sing you to your rest. Why is that drum coming here? A march is heard within. Fortinbras enters with the English ambassadors and others. Where is the sight? What is it you wish to see? If you are looking for grief or wonder, look no further. This heap of bodies cries out for slaughter. O proud death, what feast is being prepared in your eternal chamber, that you have struck down so many princes at once, and so bloodily? The sight is dreadful, and our business from England has come too late. The ears that should have heard us are now senseless. We came to tell him that his command has been carried out, and that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. From whom should we receive our thanks? Not from his mouth, even if he still had life enough to thank you. He never gave any command for their deaths. But since by such close timing you have arrived from the Polish wars, and you from England, at this bloody question, give orders that these bodies be placed high on a platform for all to see. Let me speak to the world that still does not know how these things came to pass. Then you shall hear of fleshly, bloody, and unnatural deeds, of accidental judgments and chance killings, of deaths brought about by cunning and forced cause, and in the end of plans misunderstood falling back on the heads of those who invented them. All this I can truly report. Let us hurry to hear it, and summon the noblest people to listen. As for me, I accept my fortune with sorrow. I have some remembered rights in this kingdom, and now this opportunity invites me to claim them. I will have reason to speak of that as well, and from the authority of one whose voice will draw more support. But let this be done at once, while men's minds are still unsettled, so that no further misfortune may arise from plots and errors. Let 4 captains carry Hamlet like a soldier to the platform, for if he had been given the chance, he would likely have proved most royal. For his passage, let soldiers' music and the rights of war speak loudly for him. Count the bodies. A sight like this belongs on a battlefield, but here it seems terribly out of place. Go, order the soldiers to fire. A dead march is played. They exit carrying away the bodies. Afterward, a volley of artillery is fired.
And there Hamlet ends with its hero dead at last, his revenge taken only as he himself is dying, and his friend Horatio left alive to tell the story, so that we are sitting here, 4 centuries on, still telling it. It is the deepest play we have about grief and doubt, and the terrible gap between knowing what one must do and being able to do it. The rest, as the dying prince says, is silence. Thank you for sitting with the whole of Hamlet. Mind the footnotes, and beware the folly.